So what a geek's dream to be able to speak at Amazon re:Invent, right? Before I jump in, my house is probably the poster child for Amazon. 2 years ago, Santa delivered 3 Kindle Fires. At that time, my youngest was 3, and so we're a huge technology house. The other thing I would say is I'm a huge Audible fan. I don't know how many of you guys are, but Audible is just constant. We're constantly pushing it in our organization, trying to get people to continue to learn, continue to grow, create a culture of inquiry. It's a huge part of what we do and everything that we talk about constantly. And the last but not least, me and my son are also Minecraft server administrators, which we also host in Amazon. So thank you guys very much. We really appreciate that. My son thanks you. So we are a house of Uber geeks. Everybody comes to our house so we can all play on our network and play games. It's a lot of fun. So to the business, it's not as much fun, but state of Arizona, I've been at the state for a little over 5.5 years. Private sector before that. I tell everybody that I meet that the state is infinitely more complicated than you would have ever guessed. If you've never worked in state government, you could never guess all the different systems, all the different things that happen all the time. So 130 plus different state entities, right? There's actually about 170 that we track with different appointments and things that are happening all the time. So it's very, very federated. Anytime that we want to have a conversation about spam, we got to go out and talk to every single different group, right? It's just insane. It's about a $27 billion budget. 32,000 employees. We have 672 buildings across the state. My group is responsible for doing shared services infrastructure. And when we first started, it was just pure chaos, right? There really was no cohesive strategy. There was no process. And when you're supporting 500,000 calls a day, 3 terabytes of data a day, 672 buildings, it's pretty chaotic. When I first saw my first Sev 1 coming across, I'm like, well, who's doing something about this? I'm like, come on, somebody do something. And it's like, well, no, don't worry about it. We got 4 other ones going on right now too. It's okay, we'll take care of it, right? And it's just constant. We always have problems. There's always things that are going on. So when we started, we really started to ask the questions. We didn't want to be better than any other state government. We didn't want to be better than other county government. We really started to look at what organizations deliver amazing service, right? And how do we deliver amazing service? And so started modeling, looking at the private sector, looking at public sector. Anybody that stood out from a customer experience perspective, we absolutely considered as how do we do that? What do we like about that? How does it apply to what we do? And we really started to think about what's our mission versus what's our vision. Where are we trying to go? So from a mission perspective, we came up with that our mission is to ensure the continuity of mission-critical and essential systems. It's really to keep the governor out of the newspaper, right? It's to keep life and health and public safety functioning, working, happening every day, right? But from a vision perspective, we were really challenged by it. And it's actually funny and very humbling to actually be speaking here because we actually emulated Amazon's BHAG, the Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. And so when we were going through this concept, if you've never read any of the Jim Collins books, please do. Good to Great, Great by Choice, Built to Last, all those amazing books, right? So we took Amazon's BHAG and we said, Amazon's BHAG was, how do you deliver every book ever written anywhere in the world in less than 60 seconds, right? So we started to think, how do we enable state agencies to take what they do, either from a website today or from a paper process today, and over a period of many, many, many years, start to get them to change how they think, how they deliver services, and how do you make those services available anywhere, anytime to every Arizonan. And when we say every Arizonan, we mean the citizens, all 6.6 million of them. We mean all the businesses that do business in the state of Arizona or with the state of Arizona. We also mean the 32,000 plus employees that also work and do business at the state. We also have to think that any one person can be any one of those 3 things. So you may own a consulting business, but you also might be an employee, right? You may be a citizen paying your taxes. And so this is a very complicated use case that we really started to think about. And so obviously, I love Teresa's slides this morning because I totally agree with everything. And I mean, we could have totally aligned our slides. But first, we had to really define what cloud is, right? I mean, that's kind of the funniest, silliest conversation, right? When a vendor comes in and somebody comes in or you're talking to the legislature, what about this cloud thing, right? My favorite conversation is I continuously have to update the legislature on we can't take the mainframe and put it in the cloud. Not today, slowly, but it doesn't necessarily just move to the cloud. But that's a very real conversation we continuously have to have. You have to define it. And so anytime that you have a conversation, you have to say, what cloud are we talking about today, right? What is this cloud? How does it fit? Where does it fit into our overall strategy? So I normally get paid by PowerPoint slide. So normally I have over 1,000 slides on my deck. I had to keep this really short today, so I got 3 quick use cases I want to walk through with you. The first one, as Therese also said, you know, we wanted to do a proof of concept. We wanted to just put our toe in the water. We wanted to feel how it was, what happens with it. And that's really where we started to look at DNS. The second one is our legacy platform, right? So with state government, one of the biggest challenges that we have is getting capital investments. It's really complicated. We can get into it if you're curious about it. We think we've got some great strategies around that. But we don't get that support to continue to support legacy investments. We can't do that capital expenditures. So how do we operationalize that? And so really starting to focus on the legacy part. And then the third part is we really have a major initiative in our organization. I think almost every speaker said it so far. It's that fail fast, right? And so we always say fail fast, but fail forward, right? Continuously move forward as you go, right? And so that's really our new digital government platform. So just real quick, walking through these for you. The first one, it wasn't a month into the state CIO job, and our DNS server died. Okay? And what made it even worse is when we did the hot wash after the fact, they told us that, yeah, there was a known hardware issue, firmware issue with the RAID controller. You know, we knew about it. You know, it just happened today. So, I mean, we've got 360 zones, over 6,000 different entries in that. So it's not just our website. It's a whole lot of websites and applications that were impacted by that, right? So not a major catastrophe. We got it up and running pretty quick, right? So my team said, you know what, we'll fix that. We'll buy a second one. Okay. Well, we just so happened to put the second one right next to the first one. So when the power went out the next month, yeah, we fail fast, fail forward often in my group. So, that's absolutely part of our organization. So this was the very first thing. So Kieran is in the audience. He's my chief technology officer. I said, Kieran, how do we move as much stuff to the cloud as possible, as quickly as possible? He'll tell you that I gave him 18 months and then turned around the next day and told him 12 months. I don't know if he's true or not on that, but we're constantly having that conversation. But the very first thing we did is we went with Route 53. And when we did that, we went from an $89,000 cost of just maintaining the infrastructure to an $18,000 a year from a Route 53 service. And what an amazing opportunity for us. But the real 2 big benefits that we get from it is A, that business continuity that we didn't have before. But the second one was, and I can't tell you how weird this was, but my team was actually afraid that if we moved it to the cloud, that we would let 1 or 2 of them go. And we're like, no, we're not going to let you go. We got so many other things for you to do. We need that self-provisioning capability. We need to give agencies the capability to manage their own stuff. And it was hard. Back to culture, it was hard. It was hard to convince them that, no, I'm not going to fire you because I moved DNS, right? Second use case, legacy servers. We got a great study out on our website right now. We did a 1.5-year study on the large-scale systems for the state of Arizona. We have over 100 different data centers and server rooms. There's about 2,600 different servers. 61 agencies that own their own infrastructure today. About half of our infrastructure is over 5 years old. That's a problem for us. We continue to age this equipment and we don't really prioritize it. And so we started out with, okay, we actually had 25 services. We took a service approach. We had these 25 services, which was about 240 different servers. And we started to go service by service, application by application, infrastructure by infrastructure, and we did a big assessment of which of those 25 services can we move first. And DNS was one of those first ones, right? But we started to really go through that. Our catalog price today on our website for our services is $300 a month. So we really knocked that down, moved those services out to the web. There's about 93 instances that we've moved out to Amazon so far, but then we're continuing to go through that. The last one, just to go through it real quickly for you, this is really our innovation. This is that disruptive innovation. It's that platform that allows us to do this. Over the past 6-9 months, we've implemented 255 instances, 54 load balancers, 23 terabytes of storage, lots of databases in the cloud as well. It's been a huge implementation for us. Just from real quick, just in October alone, we had over 8.5 million page views. The CDN capabilities have been just phenomenal for us from an I/O perspective, where we've done 3 terabytes of data in October, but only 6 megabits back to our systems. So it's been a very successful platform, very scalable for us, and really allows us to continue to innovate all the time. So just quick, lots of instances. First month bill was about 51 bucks. We're now about 40,000 bucks a month is where we're at right now. So we're continuing to grow. Karen will continue to tell you that we're growing over and over and over again, but we got to limit that too, right? So with that, I appreciate it very much. Thank you all. Appreciate it.